Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. Maureen, if you could freeze, that would be great. We also welcome today a co-host partner with us, Product Nation from India. So 1 Million by 1 Million's mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue by 2020. Thereby helping create $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs. We operate today the only global virtual incubator in the world. And I'm delighted to welcome Product Nation entrepreneurs today. Product Nation is a relatively new group in India whose mission is to really spur the product movement in India. As you probably know, India has been largely a service-oriented information technology industry over the last, 2 or even 3 decades, I would say. But in the last few years, we've started seeing some product companies emerge. We actually have a big presence in India from 1M1M, and we have also contributed to helping that product movement, shepherd that product movement along. And I'm delighted to see that Avinash Raghava, whom I've worked with actually quite closely while he was at NASSCOM, has taken a leadership role in spurring this movement and taking it to the next level. So today we're going to be working with the first entrepreneurs. Actually, we'll be working with Arol from Product Nation and potentially a fourth one at the end of this. So we are almost ready to started, but before we do that, I have to talk about one of the partnerships. It's a very important partnership that we've just announced last week. It is our partnership with SAP. SAP Startup Focus is a program that is focused on developers building products on the HANA ecosystem. HANA is SAP's in-memory computing platform, and there's lots of entrepreneurs right now who are developing interesting big data, business analytics types of applications on HANA. And this program is a contest where SAP will be awarding 12 scholarships to the 1M1M program who are building on, to entrepreneurs who are building on the HANA platform. So the link for the application and more details is on your screen. And Maureen will also put it in the public chat. The application deadline is April 19th. So please make sure that you go ahead and make sure your applications are in on time. If you need to talk to somebody, there's lots of information on the link about whom to call and whom to ask about this specific program. All right. If you are live tweeting the show, please use hashtag 1M1M. Our 2 Twitter handle are at 1M by 1M and at Sramana. And our YouTube channel is on your screen. We will be publishing the recording of this roundtable on the YouTube channel, and every single recording of our previous sessions are on the roundtable on the channel, so you can listen to those. It's one of the ways we provide access to our companies and publicity, and we also will publish a recap column based on this roundtable. Now, one other thing, if there is time, we will do Q&A, obviously, and these are the numbers to dial into for that Q&A time if you want to dial into. Otherwise, you can also do Q&A on the public chat. I will put the slide up when we get closer to that. But for now, we are going to jump into the Product Nation entrepreneurs and get to know them and hopefully help them a little bit in the work that they're doing. Manjunath Gowda is the first entrepreneur from Bangalore. Manjunath, please unmute your line and come and tell us what you're doing with your company.
Hi, Sramana. This is Manju here from Bangalore. Good morning, everyone. I started a new company called i7 Networks probably 8-9 months back. This is my second venture. Previously, I started in December 2003 another company called S7 Software. Then we were basically concentrating on services, very niche area, migration services into Linux. We got acquired by Blue Coat Systems, which is a Valley-based company in Jan 2010 for $8.4 million. Then I had to serve their Indian office for next 2 years because of golden handcuffs. After that, I got out and started this company. If you go to the next slide, it probably tells the problem what it is. Basically, it's a dialogue between the CIO and the persons. Basically, CIO is saying that, whoever can read, I think will explain the problem completely, but I'll just repeat very briefly. He says everybody is getting their own problem, every devices, and they want to do whatever they want to. Yeah, it's our company. It's a media enterprise. Or what happens if the problem comes? Then it's your company. Yeah, so that's basically what the issue is. You can skip to the next one. Skip to the next. So what's happening is BYOD stands for bring your own device. It creates mainly loosely three main issues. One is basically a lot of attack on the corporate network, security, vulnerability issues because a lot of unauthorized devices are getting in, older vulnerable OSs, compromised malicious devices, non-integrity. When I say non-integrity, jailbroken and rooted, compromised vulnerable apps, because the person before IT used to manage everything, the computer, the software. Now employees have their own device, they have their own choice of apps, choice of OS, sometimes authorized, sometimes jailbroken, creating a lot of security holes in the corporate network and the leak of data. The second issue is with all these devices entering the enterprise, role-based privileges are not enough. You need to do even device-based differential access to the corporate assets. The third is, which is a very common issue, that you lose your device very often today because something you carry wherever you go to a pub, disco, you lose it actually. So with corporate data on it. Next slide, please. How do we solve? We basically, what we do is we detect all the devices that are playing on the network, irrespective of how they join. Regular, authorized, unauthorized, spoofing, hotspotting, whichever way we try to get in, we have probes all over the network. So we detect all these devices. And we can do the second thing is we actually check the health of the device. Are you compromised? Are you malicious? You have vulnerable apps? Are you below corporate suggested baseline? And then we do program, basically we refuse the access or deny the access based on the corporate rules. We enforce policy in the third part. Can you go to the next slide, please? How are we different? We do it completely agentless, non-intrusive. We don't even put any client on your device. We don't touch your device. We don't change your behavior. We don't change your profile. You don't even know that actually we are doing it. We don't even ask you to go to a self-registration portal, which most of the current solutions are doing. So that's how we are completely different.
So you are assuming that if an employee of a company plugs into the company's network, then that automatically authorizes you to do a certain set of things to that device.
So what's happening today is it's all role-based, user and role-based authentication. So even if you get your iPad, for example, and you use your, say, Active Directory credentials, you don't know whether they are getting the device or they're using their laptop to get into the network. So today IT has no idea. And there are many other ways of getting into the network without even getting authorized.
No, but you are not doing role-based. You said you were not doing device-based.
No, what I'm saying is role-based is not enough. So we are doing plus device-based.
I got it. So you're doing device-based. Anytime a device comes into comes into an enterprise network, you do a certain set of things. Is that a correct assumption?
Correct.
What about guests? What about people? In any large company, there are lots of people who come in as guests. You can't possibly go into their device without their authorization and just download everything on their device. That's just not right.
No, no, no. When they come as a guest, right? We actually integrate with Active Directory. From that, we know he's a guest. He's trying to access with his device. If the corporate policy says a guest can actually use his device, then we allow it. Otherwise, we prompt a message saying that not allowed to access your iPad in the corporate network.
Okay. All right.
And even if they log in, we provide differential access because we can assume there's a policy which says guests are allowed only email. So then we make sure that only email access and they cannot access any other corporate assets.
Okay.
Can you flip to the next slide, please? What do we find? We deterministically find the MAC ID, the OS, the device kind, iPhone, iPad, everything. Deterministic is as soon as you try to connect, even before you are on the network, we get all this information. When I say heuristic is we basically open fail, we allow them to log in using the Active Directory credentials or any of the authentication credentials, and then over a period of time we find out whether jailbroken or rooted, malicious, whether you are generating malicious traffic, what is the OS version you have any malicious apps, and we also what we have created is a database called a Device Vulnerability Index database on our own. So based on many parameters, we actually say what is your vulnerability index of your device. So the corporates can say, assume we give a rating between 1 and 5, corporates can say anything less than 4 don't allow. We have our own algorithm for that. So current product status is we are available in 2 flavors, just a discovery module, what we call Peregrine Lite. Basically it can be deployed passively so that we don't really hurt the corporate network in any way, no burden, no interference. And the other one is both the discovery and policy enforcements where we have to deploy inline. The reason we separate out both is a company with no brand value might be very tough for any IT manager to put our product in line in the corporate network. So if we just do the discovery part first, at least we can get entry into some of the corporation enterprises. And once we build enough credibility, they can probably pull us from data monitoring network to their inline mode. We are planning the beta by.
You have in the validation stage right now?
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
How many customers, how many enterprise customers are you working with in this validation phase?
We have talked. I've talked to at least 10 enterprises for the validation part, but few of them have accepted to be my beta right now, to be my beta customer. My beta version we are planning by the end of April, and GA by mid of May to end of May. We are demoing and announcing the launch in the SITE conference that's going to happen in San Francisco, June 1 to 3. SITE stands for Consumerization of IT Enterprise. Next step, next slide, please. Some of the segmentations issues, enterprises. So basically, this is for enterprises which allows bring your own device. We are planning 2 kinds of go-to-market strategy. One is direct, and the other one is partnerships. In partnerships, what we found is we found a market gap. All this, what MDM, MAM, all those they manage what they know. There is one of the theory is that 1/3 of the devices go are unauthorized and go undetected. So we can actually work with them to pull all such devices into their management safety net. So if I can work with them as a partnership, so they can offer us a value add.
I recommend that you don't try to do any partnerships until you have enough, enough reference accounts in terms of you have to sell direct to enterprises and get a bunch of reference customers, because until you have that, I don't think you'll get a lot of success with the partnerships.
Okay, I'll make a note. Thank you. The direct one is basically trade fairs and then my network, any inbound we can get, and we basically talk to that enterprise who really cares for an agentless way of doing solution. There's one segment in the whole enterprise who says, let me be non-intrusive. I respect the privacy of the employees. I don't put a client on their device. That segment we have to catch and try to sell this basically. Segmentation part, what I've seen is that I've gone to a stage where I said I have my own space where actually I can play along with other people also, so that I can complement them rather than compete with them. As far as finance and awards goes, Microsoft recently selected us as the top 13 companies among 500 applied for their accelerator program. We are currently under the accelerator program. This is our second venture. I and Chandra and 7 others started this company. We have investors. The 4 investors I have mentioned. One of them is Brian Nesmith, who is very well known in the computer security network space in the Valley, from the Valley, and he used to be the ex-CEO of Blue Coat until a couple of years back. As far as funding is concerned, I think we have enough funds for another year to go. That's the status.
Okay.
Next slide, please. Go ahead. Some of the questions, I mean, some of the issues is like how to, I have talking to a few customers, but it's not so easy to get a beta customer for us who agrees to put their device in the network. Again, from the beta customers, I need at least few marquee customers or lighthouse customers where I can actually go to the market saying I have these customers. Again, clinching partnerships, as you said, you mentioned already something what I should do or not do, basically. That's another issues. And again, even in the partnership, who are the right ones, again, a question mark. And again, what are the right ways to reach the potential clients? I mean, like IT manager, security manager is my target person in my target industry, but how to reach to them is tough, also expensive. Whomever I talk to, all the CIOs or the people who select the products in enterprises, they say, we usually go by what analysts say kind of stuff, but it's very tough for a startup company like us. You want to subscribe to the analyst.
Right. I don't think analysts is how this stage, the stage at which you are in, analysts will not, because analysts would want first beta customers and lighthouse customers to validate before they're going to cover you. So that's a chicken and egg. You're going to need to, so in the process of building IT products, and this is a tried and true process, it has been happening in the IT industry for at least 20 years. Companies who come into the market with new solutions always find early adopter customers, and there's a process of finding these early adopter customers. You're going to need to learn that process, and you're going to have to implement that process. So forget partnerships, forget analysts right now. You're going to have to follow a process of directly finding customers who are, and this means that you're going to have to kiss a lot of frogs. You know, you're going to have to talk to probably 100, 200 customers and find the 10 that are willing to work with you as beta customers. That's how this business works.
Perfect. What you talked about a process. Is there a documented process? I just that you talk to all of them who are and then find the 10.
You don't talk to all of them. You try to segment as carefully as possible. So there is, there is competitive positioning. There is segmentation issues that need to be tackled. We haven't really gotten into competitive positioning at all, and we haven't really gotten into segmentation either. So I think there is some, there are things that you need to still figure out on the segmentation side and the positioning side. And our philosophy and the methodology that I teach is very heavily driven by positioning. So if you can really get to a sharp positioning, then you will be able to zero in and narrow down the number of people that you need to talk to, and you have a clearer idea about who are likely to respond and resonate, and your process is going to become much more streamlined. But that is something that is an exercise, that's a positioning exercise that you need to put in place to be able to get to that faster, sales cycle, so to speak. The big trick to getting to a faster sales cycle is positioning.
Got it.
Okay. So I'm kind of out of time with your presentation, but if there's time later, we can, revisit stuff. But let me move to your, to the next entrepreneur. But hang around. I will talk. I will, see how much time we have from Q&A, and I'll also explain a bit more about how we work with entrepreneurs.
Okay. Thank you so much.
But it's interesting. What you're doing is definitely interesting, and I'm very happy to see some, really ambitious product initiative out of India. I don't know.
Thanks.
I've just covered the Dhruva story on my blog. Have you read it?
No, I've not read it, but I'm aware of the Dhruva story.
Okay, good.
I will read it.
Okay, we'll go to Sudhir Patil from Pune next. Pune actually is the home ground of Dhruva. Sudhir, if you could unmute your line and tell us what Policiasoft is, that'll be great. What's happening here? Is something wrong with Sudhir?
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, I am Sudhir's colleague, Rahul.
Oh, what?
There is slight change.
Okay, you're going to do the presentation.
That's right. So my name is Rahul Chaudhary. I am CEO of the company. So we are a Pune-based company. We work in the area of functional test automation. And the fundamental value that we put on the table is adoption of test automation, making it quick, making it easy, independent of any skill variations within existing QA teams of enterprises.
Okay.
So we are in business for last 3 years now, right from inception till today. We have close to 26 enterprise customers, which includes few marquee customers like Parametric Technology, who is one of the global PLM players who has adopted Policia globally, and now it is a standard within PTC for any test automation initiative. We have Bombay Stock Exchange, Sears, United Nations, we have Rotary International, Pitney Bowes in US, so on and so forth. What predominant value we could bring on the table is monetize on existing QA resources to do automation, rather than depending on technology resources who will do scripting, programming, and bring on the table the productivity gain which they could never experience till today. At least so was the experience of all existing customers that we have today.
Okay. And Rahul, what is the architecture? Is this a software as a service product?
So this is a licensed software. We have two licensing offerings. One is a perpetual license. Another one is software as a subscription.
And what do you charge for this? How do you charge?
So do you want to know the price?
Yes.
Okay. So a perpetual license costs $5,600 per license, and subscription costs $250 per license per user per month.
Okay. All right. Please keep going.
Yeah. So reason to be in the business is to help organizations, help enterprises to get away from certain challenges. So fundamental challenges which are noted here in the presentation: one, software-based automation is a development activity, and so is the need of resources, so is the need of initial time, and enterprises would really not achieve the ROI, at least for first 10 to 18 months. So this was one of the common concerns globally that we could analyze, even during our previous experiences. Second one, dependency on highly technology skilled resources, which creates a lot of issues during migration of resources. And last one is reworking those automation test cases time and again when application undergoes a major change. So these are fundamental reasons why organizations could not really achieve the ROI. And the whole focus got shifted from the strategic objectives of testing to make test automation work. So these are the challenges that exist globally. We have seen even from large enterprises to even mid-sized organizations who really focus on quality seriously and willing to invest into test automation to reduce their go-to-market time or increase the coverage so as to convict the quality that goes into the production. These are the common challenges.
Rahul, in the solution that you're providing, how much, so testing is traditionally a combination of automated and manual work, right? How much of the manual work are you shifting to automated based on your solution?
So the existing customer experience, based on that, we see around 80 to 90% of manual efforts can get converted into completely automation suites.
Interesting. So, okay. All right. That actually tells me a lot about your segmentation and positioning for this company. But please keep going.
Okay. So what we bring on the table is bridging that gap and helping enterprises to empower their manual test engineers or subject matter experts who really understand the domain or the application fairly well to contribute directly into testing. So it is the first of its kind, completely scriptless test automation platform, even acknowledged by Gartner in their upcoming Cool Vendor Report, Global Cool Vendor Report, as well as India Cool Vendor Report. And we are also a part of their assessment process for Magic Quadrant Report for 2013-14.
Okay.
So easiness, reliability, and productivity is what we bring on the table for them.
Okay.
So this is the treatment. So you may have application of any type. It may be Microsoft-based, open source technology-based, client-server web-based. You may choose to use any test automation tool, maybe HP, maybe IBM, maybe Selenium WebDriver, which would be in turn used only as a deployment environment or as an execution environment. But your actual object management, test automation designing, your test automation development and reporting happens in Qualicia. So Qualicia gives a unique experience to any user. He may not know technology, she may not know technology, but can build test automation at least 2 to 3 times faster than any traditional way of doing automation using Qualicia.
Okay.
So we see a lot of traction coming from product companies, lot of traction coming from internet or e-commerce based companies.
Yeah.
The reason that we observe is the product companies are far more serious about their quality than services companies or any other segment that we observe. And internet and e-commerce companies, they have multi-fold testing efforts from platform, from browser perspective, from localization perspective. They have different versions of application based on the segment, territory, so on and so forth. So their efforts are far more multi-fold, and they cannot really get it done using either traditional way of doing automation or manual way. Manual way is too tough to cover regression every time for every new release.
Yes, also I think part of the issue that you're facing here is the services companies often charge on, people, and your whole premise is that you're eliminating the people portion and making it as automated as possible, so you kind of are, making their justification for existence immaterial.
Yeah, absolutely. So we made few very renowned services companies who perceived us as a threat because so much of productivity gain is a potential revenue loss for them.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're better off going to their customers and offering it to their customers as opposed to offering it to them.
Correct. So can we go to the previous slide, please?
Sure.
Thank you. We see $50 million and above are the potential customers because they are done with their initial efforts, fight, focus of feature development, and now quality focus has emerged to the extent they are willing to invest. And predominant region is North America. Even the data says more than 65% of global investment into testing, test automation tools, automation is done from this region. Our key drivers for anybody to invest is shrink timeline mainly in most agile methodologies that they adopt, and pressure on cost margin. But a larger pressure is the skill availability. Those who really are good in programming want to opt development as a mainstream, as a career option. And those who are domain experts, who are good at application understanding or the domain, they are not technology experts. So there lies the gap. And this is where we see are the key drivers for existing customers to invest in Qualicia.
Okay.
So we see direct sale is a way to go for at least a year more or couple of years. while we have started working on building some partnership model in US, not so successful because we actually focused more on SI as a partner, and that failed miserably. We really don't know what to do.
Problem, it's automation problem. This is, there is no services to gain out of this system. That's why you're not getting traction with the SIs.
Yeah, maybe. And we see a larger opportunity as a technology partnership, with which we can build a more larger platform or a solution based to customers. So, for example, there are quite a few test management companies who are emerging, have a good customer base, and they are not focused, neither, it's not their core competency about test automation. So we shaking hands, leveraging on each other, bringing a larger value to customer base. We see that partnership can gain some weightage in our upcoming quarters to go.
Maybe.
So 2020 release date, after around 14 months of initial product development efforts, we got quick pilots, fortunately. 2011, we got 4 major customers who adopted Polisha, and we also got some results which are measured on ground. And next almost 12 months, 13 months, we had 12 new customers, which include Tier, BSC, PCO, UNO, etc.
And what is the revenue level right now?
So, in our financial year, that is 2012-13, we will reach to around 2.3 crore rupees of revenue.
Okay. Okay.
So we see large opportunity in existing customers because initial investment is not so large, and the opportunity is fairly large.
So upsell is quite high.
Yeah. The biggest challenge is the timeline to acquire a large enterprise as a customer. For example, Tier, PTC, UNO, etc. So the validation is fairly longer because for a small Indian company, for a technology product, the acceptance takes, the time to accept takes longer time. First thing, that is a larger challenge that we face. Second one is we getting an opportunity to deal with right people who are many times based out of US, who are the decision makers and would conclude ultimately a value for their own organization and then kind of check. So that period is fairly prolonged.
Okay. So this, by the way, I think, so who do you have, is your background technical and Sudhir's background technical? Who has experience of doing sales channel, building a sales channel and stuff? Do any of you have experience of how to set up a sales channel? I mean a sales process. No, I don't mean the sales partner channel, but a sales process within the company. Do you guys know how to do that?
So within 4 of us, who the founders, I had a previous experience. So my predominant experience comes from sales as a background, and whatever sales initiatives that we drive are being driven by me today.
Okay. So I think the biggest leverage you're going to gain in there is to actually put a repeatable sales process in. And there are very, very structured methods of putting these things together. And I think I need to understand a bit better and kind of peel down again on the positioning side, so that when you set up the sales process, it's, that positioning and sales process is perfectly aligned, and that is those are the tricks to optimize the sales cycle and make it repeatable. And these sales is a number game, right? You've figured this out by now, I'm sure. You have to put enough people in the top of the funnel that are somewhat qualified, the qualification cycle, and putting enough people at the top of the funnel so that at a decent clip, enough people are closing on a regular basis, on a quarter-by-quarter basis. There are some specific processes to that you need to learn. And we have a number of companies exactly in your shoes, and this is where we get the maximum leverages in actually putting in place a structured sales process. Really fine-tuning the positioning and putting in place a structured sales process. We do this all the time. This is a very common issue with technical founders and with startup companies who do not have the experience of setting up a repeatable sales channel. So yes, there is actually a specific set of things that you need to do in order to make that piece come together.
Sure.
And I would need to understand your sales process a lot more in terms of, whom are you selling to, both job title-wise and location-wise, and what kinds of dynamics are you succeeding in selling into based on the 13, 14, or 20 customers that you have, and then we will be able to define specifically how you go to market based on your current experience as well as extrapolating from some of what's happening in the market and the competitive landscape.
Sure, we would definitely be interested to have that conversation with you, Sramana.
Okay. All right, let's move to the next presenter. We still have, I think, at least 2 or 3 more presenters. So I will see how much time we have at the end of the session, and we'll come back to you if we have time. But it's very, very good. I like to see, it's very, very nice to see that you guys are working on serious product companies in India, and I think these are all high potential companies. So let's move to the next one. Thank you, Rahul. Bala is the next one.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Bala.
Yes, Sramana, this is Bala here. Yeah, hi. And good morning to you all. I am the founder and CEO of Field Easy Technologies. We'll talk a little bit more about the company and so on. You can move to the next slide. So it was founded by 3 of us, each bringing our own strengths to the table. This is Bala here. I've run product management for a number of product companies here and in the Valley. Jinraj has similar experience on the engineering side, having built products for Chevron, PepsiCo, and big enterprises, SaaS-based products. And Bala Murugan, he was the COO at places like Western Union and other companies, and brings a lot of ops and sales experience. We came together to start up this product company out of India and want to make it a global world-class company. We incorporated in November of 2011. Our forte is building software products and delivering successful solutions for large enterprises as well as US and SMBs. We are self-funded. We founders and one sole investor put in about $200,000. We've done a revenue of $140,000 for year ending March 2013. Okay. We also have one thing I missed out is the contract value, the total contract value from existing orders for the next 2 years is about $300,000.
Okay, so you have some background.
The team size is 16. Yeah, the team size is 16. The product is an enterprise mobility solution for field force automation and extends it beyond traditional sales force and service automation to collaboration. We have shown high ROI with many big customers, and we'll talk about it a little more. We right now have 32 paying customers across countries. We struck out partnerships in places like Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, and have already acquired customers like Asian Paints in Bangladesh and so on. We have large reference customers who've been live on our product for a while now, like Wipro, Infotech, and ICICI Bank. In terms of product recognition, we were featured in Toto.in 2011 as one of the promising startups. And we were also listed as one of the top 7 mobile apps at NASCOM Emerge at same 2011.
Right.
Next slide, please.
Bala, question here. What kind of products are you helping sell in Wipro?
Wipro Infotech has about 15,000 engineers on the field doing servicing for large manufacturers like Dell, Lenovo, Acer, and so on. Our system integrates to each of the customer CRMs, sucks in the service tickets, pushes it out to the field because, a lot of it is dependent on strict SLAs, and those have to be met. The last mile field visibility was totally missing in Wipro and FedEx before our solution came in. So humongous benefits. We have processed more than 5 lakh service tickets.
So this is for servicing South Asia, Wipro servicing South Asian customers.
Yes.
And what is obviously this is not a new field, you know that there are competitors elsewhere. Who are the competitors that you see that obviously have a higher price point? I imagine that you're working at a significantly better price point for the South Asian customers, right?
Right. That's true. The competitors we see in India, Sramana, are mostly custom shops, like even the big companies like Infosys and so on, who pitch at places like ICICI Bank and so on. But nobody's got a product kind of approach in India. In other countries, there are many, there's immense competition, but they're all specialized in only servers and so on. We are taking a more broader approach, like we have done ICICI Bank. So the same product, same source code is, moldable for different industries.
Okay.
Yeah. So the opportunity that we saw was, there is a large proportion of the workforce in service industries. That's one big opportunity in the US and UK. When it comes to the economic challenges that we're seeing, a lot of movement towards temporary workforce, hence the need for collaboration and keeping tab on productivity has gone up. We also have larger service costs because people are buying the longer replacement cycles. People are investing lesser. What we've seen as a gap is large service and sales organizations. They are missing the operational insights because of inaccurate field data despite CRM, ERP. Now, the people who have gone the mobility route a long time back have addressed this problem, but then they've used expensive solutions like PDAs and so on. It's complex for user adoption as well as those don't evolve as you go forward. The approach we are taking is we add new features, just like a web-based SaaS product. We add new features, we have a strong roadmap, and that goes out to all our customers at once. We are combining the concept of mobility and SaaS and delivering it as one seamless experience.
So, is your product a device or a software on any device?
I'm sorry, Sramana, can you repeat that? I lost you for a second.
Is your product a device or a software that can work on any Android device or any whatever device?
Yeah, it's a software for any device. We are now on Android and Windows marketplaces. We are releasing on iOS shortly. And we support a whole lot of feature phones with our Java platform.
Okay. So, in South Asia, the primary platform is Android, right?
It's Android and still a lot of usage of feature phones. And that's where we've done a lot of work in making it work on a 200 phone as well, in offline, online mode, and working on unreliable 2G networks as well. So it's even in that scenario, which makes a lot of difference compared to, some of the products from the US where they only focus on smartphones, and the assumption is you would have this work.
Yeah, okay.
So we changed the design principle, design center of the product, saying, look, it's got to work in countries where these are given, and that sets us apart in all these countries. Yeah. Okay. So, just one slide back. Obviously the market is growing in terms of the number of global mobile workers. It's made it to be about 1.6 billion by 2015. Now, most of them would be from the Asia Pacific region. Yeah. Next slide. Why Field Easy now? We have proven ourselves with large customers, robust products, working on very stringent conditions, and without using expensive devices. Any usual smartphone with no additional customization or anything would work fine with our software. And we are ready to occupy a lot the market white space across various industries and geographies. The solution is feature-rich. It's service of sales calls, scheduling and management. Got things like message boards for communication, collaboration. For attendance, barcode scanning, a lot of integration on some hardware so that we can, deliver an end-to-end experience and deliver it across industries as well. It's a strongly evolving product roadmap. It's easy to subscribe and use. I would request anybody to try out and give us feedback. We've done a very transparent pricing. Most of the SaaS players, so-called SaaS players in this space, don't put a pricing out. To me, that's not transparent when it's not a true SaaS model. So the other thing is the best part of it is totally self-help. User organizations can enable number of business processes with these. Take the ICICI example. It's not just CRM that we are trying to put on the mobile. A bank has n number of processes that are field-oriented. For example, anything from a disbursal of a home loan to full, checking, site surveys and so on. Everything is field-oriented, but without that, but it's so underserved in terms of systems being specialized to serve those needs. The approach we took is the whole product is configurable from the server side, and the mobile apps are built in such a way that they adapt with as per the rules set on the server, and all this in an offline-online mode.
So Bala, are you positioning as a horizontal company or as vertical solutions?
Sorry, Sramana,
are you positioning as a horizontal company or as a vertical solutions?
Vertical now, and that's actually one of the questions to you. We are doing vertical as of now. We are positioning our solutions as vertical solutions, but we also put our solution as SaaS, and we've got, if you look at the Android marketplace, we've got more than downloads. We didn't do any marketing or anything of that sort. So one of the questions we are internally having is how we do horizontal as well. Of course, it's I don't know whether it can be this and that, or focus now on light-out customers and turn them magnets to the smaller customers. So
I would not go with the smaller customers right now and not worry about Android downloads and all that. I would go with an industry-specific go-to-market strategy, and you have lighthouse. You have some good validation customers. I would package that up into vertical solutions and knock down vertical after vertical, basically. Because I think, especially if you have good ROI metrics, that's a much more effective, faster way to go to market.
Sure. Thanks for the comment. Yeah. So the way we, could I just say on the previous slide, the product slide? Yeah. The way the product has evolved, this gives a snapshot of it. While there is a transactional to it, what we are enabling is an enterprise knowledge-based collaboration, integration with various hardware which could make relevance in a lot of use cases. We're also looking at a big paper-to-digital conversion where, for example, take the bank where I need to get a credit card application today takes about 14 days to get processed in India because of the time it takes to courier it to a central place and so on. We have integrated hardware which converts the paper input to digital through our solution, embedded input in business process, and reducing the cycle time for processing just about 2 to 3 days. And that's been, we have certain innovations on that front. And of course, the payment collection, we've integrated with devices equivalent of Square and PayPal in the US. Here it's EasyTap and M-Swipe and so on. We've brought in that aspect as well. Next slide.
So again, I want to give you a piece of feedback here. Be careful when you go into the vertical, like you're talking about banking, credit card applications, figure out which process really the bank is going to get the maximum ROI out of, and the sales cycle should start on that process.
Sure. Yeah.
Because large enterprise deals, as I'm sure you're going to, in your challenges, you're going to come up with exactly the same challenge as your previous two peers is a sales cycle issue.
Yeah.
Enterprise sales cycles are long, and Indian enterprise sales cycles are even longer. So,
right.
So there are ways of tightening all that. If you do, again, back to the same issue is positioning. You're going to need to position in a way that you can accelerate the sales cycle.
Sure, yeah. And we are doing it. We still have a lot of ground to cover on that front, but we are definitely identified that as something to improve on, and we're figuring out a way as we hit verticals, Sramana.
Okay.
So
good. Interesting premise. We're going to have to move on to the next presenter, but definitely interesting premise. You've got some good work done. It's a question of how you accelerate at this point.
Sure. So this is our go-to-market. We've already targeted some English-speaking geographies, and we have lighthouse customers. And in terms of targeting US and Canada, that's where we want to raise funding for that and target replacement markets. And as well in the medium to long term, we want to target other countries. Yeah?
Yeah, it's not clear to me that US and Canada is the right next market to go to.
That's one of the questions to you, Sramana. We definitely have made inroads into Southeast Asia and South Asia. US the question is whether we do it now or wait. No, those are the things we're debating.
So one thing that I would like to, I can't answer that question in vacuum, but I would like to, work with you on your positioning and your competitive analysis. So each country that you consider to enter has its own competitive landscape. US certainly has a competitive landscape. I mean, all these things that you're talking about is happening in the US. It's happening at various different levels. There are actually certain companies that take Salesforce.com or Siebel systems and then mobilize them on behalf of the customer. So some of this is happening by services companies with special mobility expertise who are building apps on behalf of companies, and I've done stories on this. If you go to my blog on the mobile and social series, you will find case studies on those kinds of use cases. So all that is happening already. The question is, if you want to get into the US market, how do you get into the US market? What is the go-to-market strategy for the US market, and whom are you going to compete with? And what are the other options in terms of other geographies, other markets, other go-to-market strategies? And that's something that this is not a light decision. These are very, very significant decisions on how you're going to build your company.
Sure, Sramana. Maybe we could connect on that offline. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm going to move to the next presenter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bala.
Thanks for your time. Yeah.
We have Placement Loop next. Kevin Carroll from Culver, Indiana. Kevin, if you could unmute your line.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I am, as Sramana mentioned, Kevin Carroll. I'm the founder of Placement Loop, and my background comes from financial services, where I spent almost 25 years facilitating transactions between buyers and sellers of investment product. And I founded Placement Loop on the simple belief that rewarding people to place ability in the industry in which they work is the best way to serve to reach the underserved masses. And I've designed a platform. It is a software as a service for multi-sided platforms where human facilitation is needed. And in this case, don't think of employee referral programs, but rather it is more accurate to think of this as an external referral program. And so the pain points in the marketplace are what you would imagine, where the talent seekers want to save time and money, and the talent candidates want to receive best fit. They want commitments. And of course, both sides would agree that they have the very similar pain points. Next slide, please. So what I want to do is introduce a a new market or the capability to bring forth new placement advisors, as I call them, to serve the masses. And these are people that are embedded in industries and have an interest in contributing to the placement process for rewards.
So question, Kevin, who pays?
Well, in the employment market, either side can pay. So it is negotiable.
That's not a good answer. So I'm going to give you a parallel here. In the entertainment industry, there is a concept called agents. In the book industry, in the publishing industry, there's a concept called an agent. An agent represents talent and takes a percentage of the contract. You know, whether it's a film contract or a book contract or whatever, the agent gets paid as a percentage of that contract that agent develops on behalf of the talents, quote unquote. But if you go into other industries, this model doesn't work. And people have tried it. So there are very specific industries where this model works. In most of the other industries, the employer pays recruiters to go find talent. In traditional placement-oriented industries, employers pay recruiters to go find talent. So the question in your situation, both or either is not a satisfactory answer. You have to answer that question precisely. What is your business model assumption?
Okay, so it depends on the customer segment.
That is not a satisfactory answer. You need to figure out which customer segment you're going to go after.
Okay, very good. So next slide, please. Okay, so the platform value proposition is that we are providing curated advisors that place ability at best fit. So anyone with industry knowledge is able to start a placement consultancy business with access to a market of talent candidates. In other words, we're introducing a platform business model that redefines placement process inventory as advice and not ability or opportunity. And the reason we think this is very interesting is because niches are becoming very, very popular, or what I like to think of as the first-person web. It's about me, it's about us, and that increases the demand for placement filter as empathetic advisor, not technological gatekeeper. And so if the platform can redistribute rewards or motivation in the long tail, it flattens an inequality of reward, because right now at the head of the market, as you pointed out, there are agents that has a very viable business model, but that business model will not work in the long tail. It has to be a completely different business model.
What is the business model are you proposing?
Well, I will show you a customer segment and show you how it's monetized.
Okay.
Okay, so we are familiar with the long tail, and in employment markets, we might think of the long tail as economic opportunities between $30,000 and $80,000 in the United States. And so we have a very inefficient marketplace in how ability is placed. There is no solution for dedicated personal attention. And of course, as technology turns the mass market of ability and opportunity into millions of niches, this creates the possibility for advisors to spring up and start placing ability with opportunity in the long tail. So you might think of very common occupations. These are not economic opportunities or occupations that get a lot of press. This is very much in the long tail. So to validate, we decided to look at amateur hockey players. So we are avoiding the employment market at this point so that we can learn much quicker and much more easily. So we look at amateur sports to build our features, to measure behavior, and to learn from. And so we start with hockey, and now we will learn to scale to other amateur sports, which would be similar to maybe starting in employment markets with dental hygienists and learning how to scale to chefs, for example. And of course,
I think the leap from amateur sports to dental hygienists is not going to work because the psychology of hiring in each of those industries are very different. Maybe in sports there is the notion of agents. In the short head there is definitely the notion of agents, and you're saying that potentially in the long tail you could introduce the notion of agents, and that may actually be a reasonable proposition. You have to validate it, that may be a reasonable proposition through some technological platform. But dental hygienist is a staffing function. That is not, there is no notion of agents in that industry. So I don't recommend that you go into an industry where this business model of agents does not exist at all. You could go into entertainment, you could go into sports, you could go into books and try to make it happen, but I think you need to go into industry segments where there is a precedence of agents and not just, you know, don't try to do it in an industry where there is no concept of agents.
Yes, we do not plan to do that until we feel confident that we have learned very much from scaling between amateur sports, and then we do have an expectation that we will be able to scale student athletes into internships, which will get us closer to the employment market. And we think that we could be very busy for quite some time just in amateur sports and maybe never get to internships, which is fine. We think that it's very profitable.
So do amateur teams pay a lot of money to their players?
I'm sorry?
Do amateur teams pay a lot of money to their players?
No, they do not pay any money. So the business model of agent and contract does not apply in the tail of amateur sports.
What is the business model? I think the big problem I have with everything you're saying is I don't see the business model.
Okay. So it will be on a slide.
Okay.
Okay. So what we are doing is we are approaching aggregators of student athletes, and we are approaching them with our design, our platform. A big part of that platform is what we call a collaboration wall, and using an outside task management software vendor that was very cumbersome to use and was not good at all to scale, but with using very good early adopters or early evangelists, maybe we call them, is that we discovered that the talent candidate and the talent seeker in hockey each invited influential others to collaborate during the placement process. So through that invitation from a known, credible, trustworthy person to a parent or an uncle or a previous coach, we were able to capture users into a single placement process, and that gives us the opportunity to present them with a value proposition as well. Okay, so in the world of hockey, for example, there are two types of players. We have the player who wants to complete a profile to promote himself, and he doesn't know where that's going to lead. But we also have the player who's very aggressive about being placed. So we have two channels to capture players, and so if you run these numbers, if we go to an aggregator, for example, that has 6,000 hockey players, and we get our value proposition and get 10% traffic, and we convert 20%, you can see the numbers there which play out on the next slide, and so on and so forth on the placement orders. It is very important for us to to, as low as possible, keep the cancellations, and as much as possible to encourage invitations or sharing of the profile or the placement order to others.
And who are the aggregators? What are they getting paid for giving you access to their databases?
We have not validated that yet. Okay, so on the previous slide, Sramana.
I think your numbers are completely off here.
Okay, you don't have a slide. What is the previous?
What you have here is a completely wild number. You have not built up to that number by any, so far I'm not convinced at all about what your business model is. And you have not done a good job of explaining, and there are too many gaps in your assumption. Then you suddenly tap a $10 billion market size slide. It just doesn't compute.
Yes, well, of course, we are creating a new market, and yes, there are many gaps and there are a lot of assumptions. That is true, and so duly noted. But as we collect hockey players, we have the opportunity to grow a network of influential others, present them with a value proposition in other customer segments. And so our goal is to have 1 million placement advisors averaging $10,000 per year in revenue by 2025, which is, of course, $10 billion. And that equates to 10 placements per advisor at $1,000 per placement process, and that places 10 million people per year.
I don't buy it.
Well, that is okay. No one bought Airbnb before they started either.
Yeah. All right, well, good luck. I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying.
No, I am very much. It is heavy on assumption and heavy on gap. I understand.
Yeah. And the question really is, do you have a path? Do you know how to fill those gaps?
Yes, by building and measuring and learning.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Nick still around, or is he gone? I see in the public chat that he was trying to come before. I didn't see it when I brought this presenter on.
Hello?
Yes, Nick?
Hi, how's it going?
Good, go ahead.
Good, how's it going, everybody? My name is Nick Kwan, as Sramana introduced me. So my company is Mitra Health. As you can see the slide, it's a health tech company connecting patients with doctors around the world. Next slide, please. Okay, so the problem we're trying to solve right now is in America. That's 17 right there. There's 16 there. Sorry, 16% of America is actually uninsured. And 16% of America, as you can imagine, if you can imagine them getting in a car accident or anything even worse than that, or even simple as dental work. If you're uninsured in America, it's really, really tough, and that leads to a lot of people going outside of the country for medical procedures. And companies like, for example, Walmart, which is America's #1 employer, half of their workforce is actually part-time, and they recently, in January, released a statement saying that they're going to increase their part-time workers, and they don't give insurance to their part-time workers. So there's a huge market called the working poor. So the working poor is one big market, or one problem we're trying to solve, and then right there can you go back to that last slide? Sorry, and then on the right you can see Michael Jackson, and they also, any cosmetic procedure or anything like that, when you go abroad, it's not covered by insurance itself. So that leads to the problem when people go abroad, they can't have an easy way to find their doctors. Okay, so the next slide.
My first reaction to that pitch is that choose your segments. Don't try to do two segments, especially two segments which have zero synergy with each other.
Okay, yeah, that's a good suggestion. Thank you. Next slide, please. Hello?
Yeah, your next slide is up.
Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, so yeah, the solution is our website, Medco Health. So what Medco is, it's a Yelp-type platform to connect patients with other doctors around the world. This is our prototype right now. Next slide, please. And then, so on the website, so as a patient, you can search for doctors. That's one. Another thing you can do is you can see their credentials. That's the school I went to, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. You can see what kind of accreditation doctors have, because in other countries, such as Latin America and especially India and Malaysia, where there's huge amounts of where people go to procedures, you want to know what kind of accreditation they have, where the school they went to, because for Americans, a lot of these doctors actually studied in America, which is really interesting. And then the other thing you can do, the third thing, is you can actually contact these doctors. I mean, it's a really, really daunting kind of concept right now, going abroad for procedures. However, that number was 1 million last year. That's an estimation that from data we've got. But connecting with these doctors, getting a better feel for them, not just on the website, but talking to them and emailing them, Skyping them, we think we can increase that number. And the fourth thing you can do.
Are we talking about the Walmart segment, or are we talking about what has come to be known as medical tourism?
I'm talking about people, that 1 million number, sorry, was the number of Americans that went abroad to other countries.
So is that your primary segment? Look, you can't build this business on uninsured Walmart, people, employees or part-time employees who do not have health insurance, and talk about people who went abroad. Those segments are not overlapping segments.
Mm-hmm.
The people who went abroad are not the temporary Walmart workers, because they can't afford to go abroad either.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the same, they can't afford to go to abroad. Relative, I guess we can discuss that later. But relative, so relative to getting a procedure in the States, for example, I got a knee surgery. It was $20,000, an arthroscopic microvascular procedure. It's $20,000 in the States, but I had insurance. But if I were to go to abroad, in a country like Chile or something, they actually have really good knee doctors there, and for the price I paid here, I could go to there, we get the plane flight there and back, stay in a 5-star hotel, and have an amazing time for 2 weeks for the same price.
Right. My point is, if your business is about people going abroad to get medical procedures done, I think that's called medical tourism these days.
Yeah.
Then focus on that. Forget about uninsured Walmart workers. People go abroad for medical procedures for all sorts of reasons.
Okay. Yeah, I think we need to kind of target our market a lot better. It's just tough because the market is, like you're saying, so big, and there's so many potential markets that are different demographics. But anyways, so the last thing they can do, I guess, so on the doctor's end, so what doctors can do, the first thing they can do is really just establish their online presence. If you look at the third thing right there, 1 second. So yeah, the first thing they can do is kind of establish their establish a new patient pool. So obviously they can, a lot of patients will come to them from different countries, and they can kind of expand their market. The second they can do is collaborate with a LinkedIn type mentality. So right now, doctors, from speaking to many doctors right now, my eye doctor, for example, one of the biggest things he wants to do with this site is be able to connect with other doctors around the world and see where their technology is, where they're, how well they're implementing different procedures. He went through a big stage in LASIK where he was contacting doctors in Canada to find out about the technology. And the third one that doctors can do is they can really establish an online presence. So in Chile right now, one of the top plastic surgeons right now, if you Google his name, this is what will show up. His Facebook is one of the top things that shows up. And I mean, that's great, I mean, for maybe a younger generation, but at the same time, when you're maybe a little older and want to see some reputable backgrounds, you don't want Facebook coming up, right? You want a professional profile and they can contact you. And that's the third thing we're trying to do.
So Nick,
for doctors.
the way I would do this business is Yelp for medical tourism.
Yeah, that's
Don't try to cater to doctors who are trying to collaborate with other doctors. That does not fall in the Yelp for medical tourism value proposition. You need to constrain specifically what is it that you're going to deliver in this particular business and cut out everything else. You may get requests for doing this and that and the other thing, but you're going to have to focus on one value proposition and build the business on one value proposition. This is not a collaboration service for doctors all over the world.
Okay.
How do you for medical tourism. So if I'm a consumer and I want to go abroad for a particular procedure, I want to check what are my options, what are the costs, and what are the reviews on those different practitioners.
Okay. How do you suggest, I guess, we get a lot of these doctors to sign up then?
The doctors are looking for people to come and they're trying to do international business, right? If they're trying to attract medical tourism, they'll have to fill up a profile and make their services known. It's a lead generation service for doctors, a marketing service for doctors.
Okay, so yeah, that first point you think is, I guess, you think is the biggest value add for this site for them, right? Is growing the patient pool.
Sorry, is?
So yeah, I guess what you're just saying, you think, I guess in your mind, doctors would have, their number one value add for joining Medco is expanding their patient pool, right? Having a lot of international business.
Right. If they're interested in tapping into the medical tourism business and accessing international patients, that this is for them.
Okay, cool.
If you think there's an interest in Chile for this kind of business, then go map out Chile and create, a pool of doctors from Chile, then go in specific categories of business. You need to structure the ontology of the site so that it can, people can search properly on various different procedures and, and countries and price points and all of that stuff. You need a vertical search engine, and you find who from where is available to do that. So go country by country and map a pool of people who are willing to do the surgeries or do the procedures.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's great suggestion. Next slide is actually a market validation. Can you go back to that last one? So our market validation is interesting because Sramana went a little bit about Chile. Is we actually just got into this incubator called Startup Chile. My two co-founders moved out there a month and a half ago. And I'm leaving in 2.5 weeks to go to join them in Chile. And it's an incubator. Over 1,000 companies applied.
We know Startup Chile.
Huh?
We know Startup Chile.
Okay, yeah. So Startup Chile. We think it's a great place to start off and kind of test our concept. For one, you can top right. That's our office. That takes a picture of. Bottom left, that is a beach, which is not an office, but it is a great place to have. Attract a lot of patients from abroad. It's in the bottom right. So why Chile? We didn't just fall into this. Chile was kind of a target place we wanted to go. So I mentioned earlier that it's a health tech company. The health aspect of it is Chile doesn't have the concept of HMO does not exist, which pretty much leaves the decision up to the patient 100% where to go. They don't have to go to a primary care doctor to refer them to a specialist. There's a few other reasons why health is huge there. That's the number one. Tech, Medco is a health tech company. So tech in Chile, they actually have more cell phones per capita than the United States. And out of all those cell phones, 30% of them.
Your users are not Chileans. If you're trying to do a medical tourism company, you're catering to Chilean doctors trying to attract business from abroad. Isn't that what the value proposition is?
It is, and then we made
all the time it seems. And what is your real value proposition?
So we kind of made a pivot once we decided to go to Chile. We got in this program. When we're signing up all these Chilean doctors, we realized that there's a huge need for kind of like a ZocDoc, allowing patients to find doctors right in that country, Chile.
That completely changes your business.
Yeah, and that's a pivot, and And I feel like once we kind of go around to get some funding second round, once say we kind of proved the concept and established kind of a country and got a lot of international doctors to buy in from conversations with them, I feel that might be convincing to get another round of funding and really kind of expand the
funding rounds work. That's not how funding rounds work. I'm not sure if this pivot that you're talking about is the right pivot. You're getting dragged into opportunistic places which are not consistent with what might be a sustainable business. I think the problem you're going to have with doing this for Chile is a business model problem. The other business has a business model. This one does not have a great business model. It's going to have to bank on advertising, and you will see how badly Yelp is struggling on their business model, even though it's so large.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to need to move on. We're out of time, but you're making the wrong pivot. My assessment is you're making the wrong pivot for the wrong reason.
Okay. Do you mind if I do one more, or can you go back one more slide and I'll finish in 30 seconds?
I need to move on.
Okay, yeah, so 30 seconds. So pretty much Medco, where we are today, we have about 136 doctors from 6 different continents around the world. We're still looking for that doctor from Antarctica. It's kind of difficult though, but we've gotten a positive response from them. We're designing a new MVP right now with a search functionality. Before it was just kind of a landing page for doctors to sign up and get info. And right now we're still looking for another technical partner. We have a front end, 2 business people, 1 intern in Chile, but we're really looking for a solid background, a back-end developer. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, I'm going to do a segment on how to use 1M1M for those of you who are looking for additional help. And if we have time, you're welcome to dial in using these numbers. The phone number is 650-479-3208, access code 669-498-288. Keep your phone mute until I ask you, and tell us in public chat that you are planning to come in so we know to expect. All right, if you like what we're doing, you heard 5 presenters and back and forth on their strategies and so forth. This is a free session. If you like this, please spread the word around. We are here for you to help entrepreneurs succeed. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond. And the only way we do that is by working with serious entrepreneurs who are interested in guidance, in help, in reaching that mission. So our entire justification for existence is your success, is to enable and empower your success. So our website is 1m1m.com. I will take you through all the different resources, free and paid, so that you can start using them. I referred to a bunch of case studies as I was talking about various businesses. All case studies from 1M1M are available on the blog. You're going to need to search and look around because it's not curated. On the blog, it's not fully curated. In the premium program, it is curated. But they're all available on the blog. Also, we provide you with a little bit of synthesis and curation on this stuff in the book series, the Entrepreneur Journeys book series. We've published 4 volumes of it so far, and actually the book series predates the 1M1M program. And that's when I started kind of, we've been doing case study development since 2006. So, and I started publishing my first book in 2008, the fall of 2008. So you will see we start to bring together some methodology elements, and 2 cornerstone elements of the 1M1M program are bootstrapping and positioning. So there are volumes of Entrepreneur Journeys books that focus on bootstrapping and positioning. And then, of course, we have full-blown curriculum material on each of those categories in the premium program. The book series, by the way, is available on Amazon and Kindle, and it's also available from Flipkart in India. The blog is at sramanamitra.com and also accessible from the 1M1M website. This is what it looks like. We also have these free roundtables every Thursday almost. This is our 165th roundtable. So we've been around, we've been doing this and helping people from all over the world on a weekly basis. Had thousands of people attend and get coaching from these sessions. And please feel free to use them as and when you need to and spread the word. The public roundtable tab on the top navigation bar will get you to the registration page. You do need to book your slot. Today, actually, Avinash Raghava from Product Nation worked with us to get a bunch of Product Nation entrepreneurs to present today, working with Maureen Kelly. But any of you can access the registration page from the website and book your slot. Now, on the premium program, we charge a $1,000 annual membership fee for unlimited access to the premium program, which covers extensive methodology guidance on all these things that we're talking about, whether it's bootstrapping, positioning, sales funnel development, sales process development, segmentation methodology, competitive analysis. All of that is part of the premium program in the curriculum. We also help you with business development. We have an extensive Rolodex. You're going to laugh, but my LinkedIn network is over 14,000 people. My Facebook network is over 16,000 people. So it's a very extensive network that you would be tapping into. And then we provide you with similar sessions of strategy consulting, these kinds of online WebEx mentoring sessions as part of the premium program that are members only and behind the premium lounge. None of the recordings are published into the public domain, whereas these recordings are published into the public domain. Then we also help with financing, depending on where you are in your evolution, and if you are a fundable business, there are elements of a fundable business you need to gauge. We provide you with the guidance on how to gauge whether you're fundable or not and put all the pieces together. If you are fundable, we help you figure out what all do you need to present in a funding presentation, what analysis you need to do, what strategy elements you need to develop, help you plug all of that and get ready for funding. And then once you're ready, we introduce you to the investors. That is the procedure of funding. And then we do extensive work in the media. We have a lot of clout in the media. I have been a pretty well-regarded writer in the technology industry for many, many years. For over 6 years, I wrote a column for Forbes. Even today, I have tons of syndicated columns. And we make all that media clout available for our entrepreneurs. If we have a page actually where you would find, I'll show you in a minute, coverage of our premium members. We have a $1 Million Club that we have announced this year, where we've been in business for a little over 2 years, and as you might imagine, it takes time for companies to reach $1 million in annual revenue. So you will meet some of the $1 Million Club members in this article that's on your screen right now. You find the URL there. You can just do a Google search on our blog, and you'll find it's actually on the homepage itself. We also present our ROI, just like we encourage our entrepreneurs to do comprehensive ROI analysis of what is their value proposition. We do the same thing for ourselves. And our analysis has yielded that for $1,000, you get $375,000 worth of value in terms of cash plus equity that you're saving by just using the program comprehensively for a $1,000 annual membership fee. And this is based on our work with the companies that are using the program really extensively. So it's a very high value program at a very, very affordable price point. And part of it is, because of our mission, which is to democratize capitalism, to democratize entrepreneurship education, entrepreneurship incubation. And there is no other global virtual incubator that operates at the scale and precision at which we operate. So this is the program for global entrepreneurship development. Then you have all sorts of orientation material on how to use the program effectively. It's a very high value program. There are value delivered on multiple different vectors, and you need to understand those vectors to be able to extract the value of the program. And all that is available again in the bottom navigation bar. You'll find orientation material and so forth. The self-assessment, which is available on the top bar, actually top navigation bar, is something we encourage all of you to do. It's a 9-point questionnaire. You should ask yourself these questions and calibrate yourself against these questions. And if you're a premium member, we offer you curriculum module to plug the gaps that you may have in each of those categories. So again, all that is at 1m-by-1m.com. There's lots of information about what's to expect in the premium program and so forth, video FAQs. All that is accessible from the site as well as our YouTube channel. Now, quick summary on how we have developed this program. So for 4 years and across 165 sessions of free mentoring roundtables, we have a deep understanding of what are the issues of entrepreneurs. Add to that our private coaching sessions, which have been running for over 2 years as well. We have a very, very deep understanding of what are the issues where you're getting stuck. Sales cycle, lengthy sales cycle, yes, we know that that's an issue of a lot of entrepreneurs. We have tons of entrepreneurs. If we are dealing with that issue, we know exactly how to address that issue. Positioning, we know exactly how to address positioning. Market sizing, we know exactly how to address market sizing. Validation, we know exactly how to address validation. So there's, all these issues that have come up that we have created solutions around. And how have we created these solutions? Interestingly enough, since 2006, we've been inviting successful entrepreneurs to come onto the program and share their success strategies. So they have, in the Entrepreneur Journey series, we have profiled hundreds of entrepreneurs who have been very generously sharing their success strategies. And we have triangulated our understanding of the issues and the solutions that these entrepreneurs have come up with and created a video lectures and case studies based curriculum, which is going to give you a tremendous leg up in understanding these issues and addressing and solving these issues. And it's working. Today, 97% of the questions that come up in the entrepreneurs' lives, we have already captured in our curriculum. So we highly encourage you to take advantage of that. About 50 hours of core curriculum work will give you so much information that you absolutely need to master that there's no point not using this material. So the core curriculum covers bootstrapping, positioning, market sizing, customer validation, financing, customer acquisition, and team building. The market sizing issue is critical. It didn't come up as much today in the discussions, but if you are going out to raise funding, you need to understand how to do really granular, precise market sizing. And market sizing can only follow after you've done a precise positioning. Without proper positioning, you cannot have precise market sizing, and investors will not buy your market sizing if you go and present top-down market sizing. So all these are issues that we know are issues in your life. Even before you open your mouth, we know these are issues in your life because we have been working with thousands of entrepreneurs over years. Now, we also have elective modules in the program. So Web 3.0 and e-commerce, cloud computing and business solutions, outsourcing and consulting, mobile and social apps, healthcare IT, online education, gaming. These are our elective modules. So if you're building a business in one of those categories, the likelihood of your finding further relevant information in those categories is very high. So that's the curriculum. Core and elective, we recommend that you budget about 50 hours of curriculum time on the core side and then another 50 hours potentially on the elective side. We've tried to make it as compact and as efficient as possible, and we expect that you're working on a project and you will be using the curriculum in a live project potentially so that you can solve your issues as you're going along. Our methodology is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. We are very, very, very precisely mindful of your cash. We do not want you to waste your cash. We want to make sure that we come up with strategies that are cash conservative strategies as opposed to cash spending strategies. I told you that we do a lot of coverage of our premium members, our portfolio. So if you go to the coverage of premium members page that is accessible through the press link on the top right corner you'll see that we constantly cover our members. And we have all sorts of syndicated relationships with various partners where we are able to give them lots of visibility because of this kind of heavy presence in the media world. And we have huge ability to influence other writers. You know, if you follow the Fresh Desk story in India, Fresh Desk is one of our companies. Fresh Desk came to us when they didn't even have any kind of validation. And they've been in the program for 2 years already. They have raised multiple rounds of financing. They won the Microsoft Startup Challenge grant of $40,000 through their work with us. So it was, you know, it's a very good company, but we also helped them really, you know, put all the ducks in order to be able to achieve the level of success they've achieved. And we gave them tremendous amount of media coverage such that they rose above the noise level so that other journalists started covering them. So a lot of journalists follow what I cover and then pick up from there. Zoho, for instance, is a story that I broke in Forbes. And it was based on my coverage of Zoho that Zoho became such an international media success story. So our commitment to you is that we will put all our resources to work on your behalf. And that's really the power of the program. We have a huge social media presence. As I said, you know, as of today and growing, we have, you know, 14,000 LinkedIn connections, 16,000 Facebook followers, 8,000 almost social Twitter followers. I mean, all sorts of ways that, and we run a very active Twitter channel which flows through LinkedIn as well as Facebook, and you can use that channel as well. We give you access to using that channel to get your messages out there, get your products out there. So it's a very, very comprehensive range of services. This is coverage of our companies on our blog. Incubation Radar is a series that we write. Incubation Radar and Deal Radar are two series that we write that investors monitor. So a lot of our companies have been covered in these programs. We have an affiliate program, by the way. So if you're doing an entrepreneurship development organization in some part of the world, you're very welcome to become our affiliate partner, and it will give you a source of revenue. So if you work closely with us, we become an extension of your resources. We are doing this, by the way, with a lot of large companies. I talked about the SAP program. We've worked with Microsoft. We work with Elance. We work with a whole range of large companies, large and medium-sized companies who provide 1M scholarships to their constituencies, the companies that they're trying to incubate. And similarly, the affiliate program also brings in various types of partners, incubators, entrepreneurship development organizations. We just worked with Thai Chennai a couple of weeks ago on a program where they have raised sponsorship to put Chennai entrepreneurs through 1M. Chennai is a very successful geography for us, by the way. A number of our success stories came out of Chennai. Pune is also a successful geography. So upcoming free roundtables every week. Rest of March, April, we have roundtables every week. Please book your slot, and I'll be happy to work with you. Another pointer is the Vision India 2020 book. If you're looking for ideas, if you're latched onto an idea, great. If you're looking for ideas, Vision India 2020 has a bunch of ideas that you can latch onto, available from Amazon and Flipkart. And back to the Startup Focus program, if you are working in the HANA ecosystem, you could apply for an SAP scholarship, and we have a deep relationship there that we'll bring you into. And I think we're kind of out of time, so I'm not really offering you to call in right now. We are a bit over. But I would like to take a few questions from public chat. If you would use the public chat very quickly to ask your questions, that would be awesome. And I will try to very rapidly take you through whatever questions that you want answered. Would you like to ask any questions? Well, anyway, while you're thinking about it, I want to thank Avinash Raghava from Product Nation for organizing the collaboration with your organization today. I really enjoyed listening to these pitches, and it's still wonderful to see real serious product companies emerging out of India, and we will be very happy to work with you if you decide to, you know, make 1M part of your arsenal of resources. And you know, Avinash, we look forward to continuing to work with you as well. All right, looks like there are no questions, in which case I'm going to wrap up, and we'll be back right here, same time, same place, next week, next Thursday. Make sure you book your slot in advance. The slots tend to get filled up. And for wherever you are in the world, we look forward to working with you and supporting your entrepreneurial journey. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.